Sober and isolated? Yeah, me too. My name is Ange Buxton, aka Bucks Wild. I have about 10 months sober, but today, like a lot of days, I'm quarantined, or at the very least, I'm socially distanced, and I want to know how you're staying sane and sober during these trying times. This is Sober During Crisis. What up? This week I'm super excited because we're interviewing my cuz, Maureen Begley. She is a stand-up comedian, one of my best friends, also my cousin, also a huge influence over me, both good and bad. We've done a ton of running together, a ton of using together, and then she got sober, and I was like, oh, word. I should look into that. Because she's been such a huge part of my personal journey with sobriety, I felt like it was really great to have her as my first guest. She was not the first person I interviewed, though, so I'll say this, as bad as I am at questioning in this episode, just wait until you get to the one where it was actually my first time interviewing someone. Oh, man. But the thing I love is that Maureen works a really good program, and she's a huge advocate for working a good program, and I'll tell you what, it works. Like, it works. It's working for me. It's working for her. And we were people that recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body and soul. And toward the end, we kind of had this epiphany that I think is really worth staying for personally. And it just goes to show you that one of the best ways to stay sober is to continue to work with other alcoholics. And that's something that I'm definitely learning every single day. We're going to jump in and do the damn thing. This is Sober During Crisis. I'm Ange Buxton. Let's learn some stuff together. Oh man, I'm so excited. Okay, so I just want to start by asking what have you been doing? Because I haven't talked to you at all. Like, what are you doing during this quarantine?
Oh my goodness.
Can we retroactively have you introduce yourself and how much like sobriety time you have?
Yes. I'm Maureen. I'm from Springfield, Mass, and I identify as she, her. And I've been sober since October 13th, 2018. I have a sponsor and they have a sponsor. So yeah, I've been thinking about this and I try not to dwell on it, but I'm aware that if I was still drinking, my disease would just be progressing more. Like if I hadn't quit when I did, I think about that. I think about if I hadn't stopped when I did, there's a very high chance that I'd be in jail for drinking. Yeah, for drinking and driving. Absolutely.
And in jail, basically getting COVID-19 because that's what the reality is right now.
Yeah, yep, that's very possible. Yep. I just think I'd be in even more fear and I'd be super anxious or I'd be reckless. Like, I don't know if irresponsible drunk me, how much she'd care or not. I feel like I would, or I'd act like I would, but I'd be stressed about bars being closed, but also I was drinking alone. So I don't know. I just would be a mess. I keep thinking and been hoping, well, I've been reaching out and thinking about how to help other people and help newcomers. So the more Zoom meetings I get on, I'm meeting new people. I met a girl last night from Worcester, and I met another Maureen I heard over the phone from Boston. That was neat.
Dope.
Yeah. And, but I'm realizing too, like how I'm helping others is helping my dad because he's a manager at a grocery store.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And his girlfriend has cancer.
Oh my God. I didn't know that. Jesus
Christ. Yeah. Yep. She's got like a form of skin cancer. So she's been in the middle of chemo and radiation. They had this whole plan for her. They're like, you're going to be only out of work this long. And this is how we're going to do this. Bang, bang, bang. You'll be done by this time and then all set. So they're still moving on with her stuff because they have to. But now my dad can barely go into the hospital with her. And I do my best, but I'm trying even harder to keep everything as clean as possible and keep cleaning the bathroom. And there are times that, I get frustrated. And to myself, I'm getting irritable about little things. Like if no one picks up after themselves and then I'm the one picking it up. And then the other day, like I watched my dad helping his girlfriend in the shower. It was very humbling and put things in perspective. And
I mean, and that doesn't make your annoyances less valid, but
Yeah,
like,
thank
I
you.
totally get that.
And we're stressed. Like I want to stay informed, but I get so overwhelmed.
And then what about you? What's your job situation right now?
We're still working because my job is an extension of crisis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what I'm hoping we do, we usually get 8 people in the space at a time and they stay for up to 2 to 3 hours. We've limited that to 4 people, smaller time agreements. We get people who have nowhere else to go. They come from the shelters to come be in a different space because the shelters are very overwhelming. And we get people who are looking for someone to where to stay because they've come off the streets and they're ready to go to detox. We're one of the only places they can get peace of mind or get information. And
That
I would
sounds
like
so important, honestly.
it's a very fulfilling job and it's very fulfilling work and I'm glad I can do it. But we gotta keep doing the best we can, and that's all we can do. But I can't overthink if it's enough. I just gotta keep being vigilant.
Sounds scary, honestly. Going to the grocery store right now is giving me anxiety. I can't imagine being in a space where, like,
Yeah, you've got people who are they've come from wherever and they're doing all kinds of stuff with whoever. It's no judgment. It's just the matter of fact that
man.
I was hoping that we would kind of close off to the public, but still be open for people who are transitioning through crisis.
Okay, so my hats are off to anyone working in a shelter right now, in a crisis center, in a rehab or a detox or in respite. Uh, just thank you so much for the work that you're doing. After having this conversation with Maureen, there was more to it. I had to cut some of it just for time, but we want to know, are there things that your organization is doing to keep you as a staff safe? What's effective or what's highly ineffective? And then what are you guys doing with patients, with walk-ins? How are you dealing with people transitioning through the beginning stages of sobriety? I would imagine there are people out there that they themselves really want to get sober right now, but are a little freaked out about the process. So I'd love to hear about it. Also, for people with family members that, want to get help for their loved one, I'm sure it's really freaky to be like, you need to go to rehab, but I don't want you to get COVID. And what you just missed is me asking a really awkward, fumbly question about what the most rewarding part of Maureen's job is. It took me like 3 minutes to get it out, so I just snipped it.
Just being aware of how good my life is, how good it's always been. Even when it was awful, it was still not that bad. I'm aware of that. But yeah, like when you already feel grateful for things you have, like I do. I already feel grateful for my bed. But when I leave that job and I leave there knowing that some people are sleeping in that space and they don't have their own bed, they don't have a bedroom, they don't have things, they don't have a place to leave stuff because they don't have a bathroom, of their own. And it's a constant realization, it also just like keeps me praying for others and keeps me available for every few people that may be coming and going or may not be ready yet, or the people that are really hard for us to help. Sometimes I get someone who is available to listen because they're finally willing. And then I know when I see that because I've been there. Anybody who says things that I've heard myself say, or when they're looking right at me and they're actually listening and it, and even if someone sheds a little emotion, that kind of thing, like that's when I'm available, which I'm grateful to be, to say to them, you deserve a life full of self-love and a decent life. You're not standing in your own way. When I'm able to tell someone you don't have to live like this anymore, when I heard someone say to me, you don't ever have to drink again. I felt like I was breathing again and I didn't know I was drowning. I had heard it in one of the first meetings. Thank you. Yeah.
That's fucking deep, man. Wait, before you keep going, I just want to say I have such a hard time being serious. And this podcast has been really hard. You're my third person that I've interviewed remotely. And I every time I try to ask a serious question, I just stutter over it so bad because I'm like, I don't want to. I'd rather just like be stupid. But this is like, these are really hard times. And I'm like, I'm so anxious and that's why I'm doing this. And like, I want to know what people are doing to stay sober, but then it's so hard to fucking ask the question.
I'm really glad though, because I know you've been stressed. Like, not
sure.
to be off topic. Yeah, dude, when you were texting me last week, the way you responded, it was so like deadpan and it was so you said something about like not finding any humor in this, and I was like, oh, they're super stressed.
Oh, it was terrible. I was mid-move. I literally had two apartments, but
Right.
like wasn't
Yeah.
fully settled in either one. Like Alex and I have been waiting what, like 12 freaking years to move in together, and then
Yeah.
and then we finally do, and it's like, "Oh, and now you're quarantined. Happy divorce." Like it was like we were like just down each other's throats. We were like, we've never actually lived together, so we couldn't. It was like we don't know what to do. I was like, I don't even have a fucking bed. Like it was so
Oh,
much. I mean, everything is
yeah.
so much better now, especially like being like, okay, but what do I? Because I finally got to sit down earlier this week and go, what do I need to do for my sobriety? Because I'm clearly stressed. Like I'm clearly like not doing well sober wise, and that would, and I need to like start putting that first again, because when I put my sobriety first, then I can, everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So thanks for notice. I appreciate you for like
You got
knowing me
it.
enough to
Yeah.
know.
I didn't know how to help because all I do is use humor. And I was like, it's not appropriate right now. But I was like, they know that I'm available.
Oh my god,
They
I
know
know.
that
I
if they
should have
call
called
me, I
you.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Sorry,
all good.
you were saying somebody, so like something that someone said to you at a meeting. I think it was that they gave you permission to not drink anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so powerful.
That's the power of the program. Like I had found myself in that basement, desperate and tired and ready after being away and in this program, and I'd heard the message, so I got down there, and that's just how he'd said it, and it was the relief. It's a part of that experience that some people feel. You know, sometimes it comes in one gracious moment, and the obsession's lifted, and everything's great. For someone like me, it was a few different things that happened that had to happen for me to get there. And then that's where, as they say, like I heard the message. And man, when he said to me, you don't ever have to drink again, now I'm able to say to people when I talk to them, like, your life can be different. If you're ready and you want it's possible. Because I, in that moment, need to be 100% sure. Because I like to be available to convince them that they can do it. Because that's what it took for me. And then even if they don't mean it, even if they go back out, even if whatever, I let it go after that moment. But when I'm there one-on-one with someone, I'm 200% about it. And then I pray really hard when they leave. And then I try to let it go because otherwise, yeah, I obsess.
I mean, you're definitely not alone. I think I have like the opposite reaction where I'll see that someone is struggling and I'll be really just like freaked out about putting myself out there enough to like what I needed when I was a newcomer, which was somebody to like stretch out their hand and be like, what's really good? Like, how are you? And like, I will shirk at the opportunity to actually do that. And I think part of it is like that fear of not like rejection, but it kind of is that they're going to just like go out or whatever.
Yeah. You won't say the right thing or you overwhelm them. I get it. Yeah. That's just,
I got to work through. I mean, granted, I feel like up till now I felt like I don't have enough sobriety, and then I'm like, well, there are people with 3 months that are in the same boat I am right now, and I don't know. Yeah, I had 9 months 2 weeks ago, so I'm almost 2 or 3. I don't even know anymore. It's like the days are just one. Like,
it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's every day.
Yo, that's exactly how this feels right now. Like, I don't know what are you doing like on a day-to-day basis to like stay sane?
Dude, I'm not watching as much of the news. See, I used to love the news, and now I can't keep watching it because it's too much.
Oh, that's right. You're a news watcher. I forgot.
Yes, which really sucks because it's like they have taken all the joy out of it because it's the end of the world. So
it feels like it, really.
Yeah, I've been watching the news less, trying to pray and meditate more, Zoom meetings, cleaning, but like doing different things and stuff I didn't always get to. What else am I doing day to day? Like kind of hanging out, because even if I only work a couple days, work has enough people on, and I just don't work a lot. So it's turned into like having a lazy day off, but it's been every day. So just kidding.
Hell yeah. Are you watching anything? Like anything good that I should check out?
I just watched Tom Segura's special, of course.
Oh, how was it?
Oh, it's so funny.
Is it? Okay.
It's so funny. It's so mean.
Oh,
it's
no.
so messed up. Oh my God. It's so great. I heard him talk about his appreciation for like ridiculous adolescent humor and how he has no problem with outrage culture. He literally says something like, it does not bother me when people are offended by things. Everyone has the right to be offended by whatever they want.
Okay, good. I'm glad someone said it.
Yeah. And then he just says something like, I just have the right to not talk to you about it or like give a shit or something. And it's great because it's just the way he words it. He says enough and then makes this joke about how he talks to his kids is how he'll talk to adults. And it's his way of being like, it's just, it's comedy, it's jokes. I'm not going to be sorry. I'm not going to apologize for my jokes. And that's, he is talking about how his respect and love for comedy. That's what I hear.
Yeah, and I think there's like a lot of confidence to take out of that. Like I definitely, there's certain things that I think are very funny and that other people do not think are very funny. And I will not say them knowing that they'll split the room in half. But I think that certain, I'm going to say it. Men have certain privileges that as a female comedian, we don't. Because if we split the room in half, we maybe only had half the room because we have titties anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We might not, that's a quarter left paying attention.
Yep.
And they're all, for me, it'd be like whatever percentage of queer women are in the room, that's what's left listening. So I have to be like extra careful and walk on extra teeny tiny little eggshells. And I feel like a dude who's like, yeah, fuck it. If you don't want to fucking listen to my shit, I'm a man, so I'm naturally funny or whatever. I don't know. Not like, you know what I mean? There's like that air about comedians sometimes.
Yeah.
But I want to watch it. I want to see what he has to say.
Yeah, I think it's good. I started Bert Kreischer's and I was like, I don't know if I can do this right now. And then Tom's came out and I was like, this I always have time for.
Yeah. What's her name? Lauren? Oh, goodness. Tomlinson? It's Taylor Tomlinson, and the special is on Netflix. It's called Quarter Life Crisis. It fits our theme, so free plug.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch hers?
I want to watch that.
Okay, you should. I found her last year, little snippets here and there from like Laugh Factory or one of those. So funny. I'm actually so glad they gave her a special because I didn't watch the special, of course, but I will. It's been 2 weeks since I did this interview, and I still have not watched it. I just bought a PS4, so that's what I've been doing. Let's call this segment Self-Call-Out Culture.
That's what's up.
Yeah, the day-to-day stuff is weird, because, I mean, not working, like, ever, it's like, I don't know when I'm even going to go back. I have to stay safe. Obviously, like, gotta go to the store, and that feels like a whole fucking mission. Like, I feel like I'm on a recon mission, like...
Yeah, I get it. I keep thinking about all the people who don't believe this or don't care or aren't following it. Like Florida, I'm not surprised by. Florida, I expect nothing less from.
Oh, God. The butthole of the United States, which is the butthole of the world. It's the butthole inside the butthole that was the butthole all along.
See, California and New York are powerless. They're like, there's too many homeless people. Yeah. We can't control it. But Florida's like, we don't even give a shit. No. And like, that's the problem.
Fuck it. You know what? Let's see if gators can get it. If the gators can't get it, we can't get it. We are gators.
That's right. I eat gator every day.
I feel so, I don't know if I should cut this. I didn't cut it, but if you're from Florida, I'm really sorry. I feel like though. I feel like you already know.
I don't care. My granddaughter told me what's going on up there in Massachusetts, and I'm going to stay down here. I ain't closing my petty shop. I'm going every day for my scratchies.
My scratchies. I hate you.
when they showed Clearwater, Florida last week on the news, I laughed so hard because otherwise I would have started crying.
It's
I was like
that.
Fucking Florida.
I know.
So typical of you guys to make us look even worse and not care. It's so, and it's a bunch of teenagers or like young.
Yeah. You know, that kid actually, oh my God, how dope would it be? I'm going to try and interview him, but he apparently sobered up and then apologized profusely for the comments that he made. And I can't remember what the kid's name was, but it was like the main kid that they were getting clips from. Okay, so his name is Brady Sluter, and he is an aspiring SoundCloud rapper. So, hey, Brady, I was also a SoundCloud rapper for like a long ass time. Hit me up at Buckswild. Let's spit some bars, bro. And talk about what it was like to wake up the next day after having given an interview that kind of encouraged a bunch of kids to get COVID. Ah, man. No regrets, am I right? I would be in probably doing the same type of shit if I was in college still and they
Yep.
canceled classes because before I got sober, like I didn't give a shit about anyone but myself. And it's like, if you're young
Hmm.
and healthy, you're gonna be fine.
Yep.
Now it's like, my worst fear is that I'm carrying it around to people I love. Like, that is like
Yeah.
devastating to think about.
Yeah. Like exactly. Anything in the kitchen, like if I come home with something and then anybody else touches the fridge, that's the thing. I live with my dad and my brother, and my brother's partner has a compromised immune system, and my dad's girlfriend has cancer. Like
Ugh.
I have, yeah, it's direct contact. So whenever I come home from work, I Lysol my backpack, I change my clothes, and I either shower then or I've also washed my hands vigorously all day.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do. I clean the bathroom before I use it every time. Like I go in there with Clorox wipes and wipe down everything I'm going to touch all over the seat. Wait a minute, then wipe it again.
Yeah.
Just so that And I'm like, I don't care. This is all easy for me to do. It's part of my alcoholism. I'm obsessive, and I remember hearing about it. This is going to trigger some people's OCD, and like I'm
I don't know if it's just me, but this kind of reminds me of like when you first get sober and you have to be super freaking mindful of every single thing that you do all day and be really intentional with like what you're doing, where you're going. And it's like you're constantly thinking about, okay, can't drink, gotta not pick up today, no matter what. And like it's like that cycle that you go through when you're newly sober where like you can't stop thinking about drinking, but you don't want to. It's like that with the coronavirus stuff, I think. I don't know. It's like you're constantly being super scared about it, but you're like, I don't really, I'm probably going to be fine, but I have to be super scared and careful. And it kind of like takes over your brain almost.
Yeah, because it's just one aspect or another. Like all the other things I go to think about, I think about the virus affecting it stuff. Like I think about the climate now. And I'm like, what is this going to do? Is it going to do a lot of good things because we've all slowed down? Or are people using way more water and we're wasting resources because of this virus?
Oh my
And I'm
God, I'm
like,
using so much water.
yeah. And then, yeah. And I think about, because everything's closed down. So it's different. Like it takes away the opportunity for us to be more careless, or this is going to become a new normal. Like that's all the stuff that's freaking me out. Like I have a strong immune system and I'm a very cleanly person, but I
Yeah.
gotta just like deal with it and then stay home. And that's what's wild to me is like we can't just go out anywhere. I guess that's similar. It's a new normal. Like once I stopped drinking, I had to change my patterns and when I had money on me because I can't go to Doc's place. Like I can't do these certain
Oh,
things because I'll drink
yeah.
and I can't go out. I got to be safe.
Okay, so definitely a theme that's developing here is how long does it take to adjust to a new normal or just this concept of a new normal? And I did a quick Google search. There's just not a lot of research on this. There's no magical golden scientific amount of time that it takes to adjust to change. In fact, all of the research or articles that I found basically said the same thing. If you want to adjust to change, just adjust to it, which is like the equivalent of being like, you can't be anxious because I said don't be anxious. It's the law. You have to not be anxious now. Like, it doesn't really make any sense or make me feel any better. But at the same time, I kind of get it. It's like if you expect change to happen, then when it happens, it won't be catching you off guard. And yeah, that's true, but it doesn't really help when you're in times like this where it's like, oh, great, now I'm quarantined inside forever. And oh, also, I'm still in my first year of sobriety. I mean, any 12-step program that I've been to has said it takes a long time to not be in early sobriety anymore. You have to keep doing the next right thing. You have to keep extra vigilant in those first few years so that you don't fall back into your old habits. So I'm definitely going to continue to research and figure out how long does it take to adjust to a new normal. And speaking of a new normal, worrying about our parents is something that our generation, we are millennials. Everyone keeps blaming millennials for the friggin' spring break. Like, we are too old. We are not on spring break. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
am 30 almost. Like, come
right.
on.
It's Gen Z, right? Gen
Yeah,
X,
Jen, whatever Maria is. It's the little
yeah,
Marias. Shout out to my little sister Maria, Go Temple Ultimate. But
Gen Z, I think.
yeah, I think it's Z. Gen
And
alphabet.
X is the one before us.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're not used to like really having to worry about our parents. Like we haven't gone through this yet. You know, I mean, on a
Mhm.
day-to-day basis. And this is the first time I'm starting to realize like my mom is vulnerable to this, and you know, that's
Mhm.
scary.
Yeah, I worry about my dad. I worry about his health if he comes in contact with people, and then I worry about his safety because people who panic are unpredictable.
Like I see a lot of people numbing out.
Yeah, like the justification that lots of people could be using now for all the people who weren't exactly ready to get clean yet, but were pushed to the brinks by family members, now get to say they can't go away somewhere. If I was still smoking weed, it'd be never enough. I bet that's exactly like with
Yeah.
alcohol. It'd just be progressing because um I there would never be a wrong time. Just like for me as an alcoholic, I never thought that I don't believe that there is a wrong time to drink. I think
Yo,
it's
right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's why
I
I can't drink.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think that there's any wrong time because I don't care what other people think, or I'll keep it a secret, or
Yes, keep a secret.
yeah, it
Exactly.
didn't matter. Yep, 7 a.m. A funeral, kid's birthday party, my birthday party, work. Those are all times I was drunk, like literally. If I still smoked, I smoked with whoever, whenever, because I
Yep.
always, especially if you were offering and I didn't have any, or if I had some but I didn't have to bring any, I never wanted to waste an opportunity to get high, just like with drinking.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
so
glad.
crazy to think about that.
Yeah.
I would have
Mhm.
probably my doors open to any stranger or not stranger, but you know what I mean, like any acquaintance who was
Hmm.
like down to come out and like break quarantine, or if somebody was like, "Hey, come over," like couple, like I could definitely see myself putting myself in a lot more risky situations if I were
Yep.
still using. It's definitely hard to be sober right now. This
Hmm.
is isolating sucks. Like it
Yeah.
sucks. Like are you having success with the Zoom meetings? Like are those working for you?
Yes,
Okay.
they are. Took a little bit at first, but I found more than one link with this directory, and now with meeting codes, and I think I found one that stays open because no one's hosting it. So like each hour goes on and someone else just takes over, and they're the one that tells everyone to mute their mics because there's no main host. Um, so that's been all right.
Wait,
And then
how
there's
did you do you have like could we
yeah, I'll send it
broadcast
to
that
you.
info? Is that like I
Yes.
feel like that'd be
I'll
dope.
join Facebook groups. There's
Okay.
Facebook groups, Zoom.
Facebook.
I will send you. There's a women's one
Okay.
and a regular. There's thousands and thousands of members.
Okay. So,
Zoom is keeping a lot of people sober.
oh my god, shout out Zoom. This is free
Yeah.
free advertising for Zoom.
Thank you, Zoom.
Yeah. All right, so since doing this interview, I've been doing a ton of Zoom meetings. They are very helpful. I am going to just continue to tweet links for hubs that have a lot of Zoom meetings listed on them. What I'm not going to do is put out the numbers for specific meetings because I feel like at this point, there's just been so much Zoom bombing of AA meetings. I don't want to contribute to that at all. Also, if you or someone you know is bombing any 12-step Zoom meetings, just let them know that they're basically being a terrorist because those meetings are people's lifeline. Like, that is my livelihood. When you bomb it, you make it much easier for actual real alcoholics that are there for the solution to be banned because maybe I didn't have enough lights on in my bedroom. What? Like this really happened to me, guys. I'm still kind of shocked about it, but I know it wouldn't have happened if AA Zoom meetings weren't being bombed. So stop doing that.
That's been helpful, but I can also tell you that there's hot tea, the gossip, some drama running around in AA is that some people are having meetings. There are some people who are in groups of 10 or less who are trying to stay 6 feet apart, and they're bringing their own coffee and they're doing
Yep.
all these things to be vigilant and responsible. And some deem it as being selfish, and it's really however we want to look at it. I think no one is wrong because there are a few people who are desperate for actual meetings. I know a woman who relapsed after 7 months. She
Yikes.
needed a meeting.
Yeah.
And for me, it falls under to thine own self be true. I think of the saying, I am responsible. But when anyone anywhere reaches out I want the hand of AA to be there, and for that I am responsible. I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, that
So,
sounds great.
and it's still like, yes, we are working hard to be very vigilant and responsible, and we know that we all need to do. We work hard to be sober, to be contributing members of society, and we want to keep others safe. It's just also that, like, some of us need a meeting, and some of us, when we say our recovery comes first, our recovery comes first. And that's
Yeah.
like the leg I'm standing on.
I like what you're saying about you gotta stay sober. To thine own self be true.
Some of us are just doing what we have to do, and that's it. Like, AA is never going to stop being a thing. The apocalypse could happen and we could lose communication, but it takes two people. I just trust in that. I trust in the fellowship and what's working for all of us. We're only in control of ourselves. On the bright side of what's happening with Zoom meetings online, I'm meeting people and having meetings with people all over the place. I talked to a girl last night from Australia.
What's good?
Yeah. This guy, I think, who lives in Texas or somewhere, had a puppy.
Oh my God. Getting to see people's pets is absolutely one of my favorite parts of Zoom meetings.
Bruin loves meetings.
Oh, Bruin. Oh my God, I forgot.
My sweet big boy, he lays down. So I've been in the living room for a couple, for Neki Pa on Sunday, and we're listening to everybody. Bruin is just knocked out on the couch. And then Monday night, I'm making dinner and I'm finishing and I'm listening to my meeting, and the boys are being quiet, and Bruin's behind me on the dining room floor, laid out. He loves meetings.
Yeah, Bruin needs his meetings, man.
He does.
That's so funny.
I think he likes the way it makes us feel. Yeah. So he likes the vibe.
Keep coming back, Bruin.
Keep coming back. He gets it. It works. He's doing it.
That's amazing. One day at a time, buddy.
One day at a time. One bark at a time.
I can't. One bark at a time, bro. I can't. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I do have some prepared professional questions.
Okay.
Just talking about like what's working for you or what advice you have for other sober people who might be struggling right now specifically or in any time of crisis, because you work with people who are legitimately in crisis. Like, what advice do you have? What should they do? Although
it either sounds cliche or may sound redundant, taking deep breaths, taking that deep breath and letting it go. Like, you got to relax. This isn't going to be over tomorrow, but we are going to get through it. Just like with any stressful or intense moment. For a long time, I couldn't stay out of my own way. I couldn't not drink. I could not make bad decisions, and I couldn't not think about how everything was always awful and that I didn't deserve to not be miserable. But today I'm able to just to drink a lot of water and taking deep breaths and knowing that it's going to get easier. And it could always be worse. It's such a cliche thing, but when you focus on something you're grateful for, if you give yourself a chance to give yourself a break and try to look at the good things, I think especially with the virus, going to meetings, calling people and checking out these Zoom meetings, it is helpful. It gives me the feeling I get when I'm leaving the meeting. I enjoy it because it's so fun to listen to people's accents and to hear the same kind of message, but from somebody you would never have the opportunity to meet otherwise. Because of this coronavirus, I'm doing Zoom meetings. I'm talking to people from El Paso, Melbourne, Australia, Anchorage, Alaska, everywhere in between. So I have to give Maureen credit. After this little speech right here, I was like, okay, I definitely want to check out more Zoom meetings. And then I did, and she was right. It is pretty dope. So you heard it here. Check them out. They're kind of cool. Yeah, we just got to take it easy. Drinking's not going to help it. It's not going to fix anything. I had a thought yesterday. I had a whole thought. Oh, man. Yep. Be like that hoe over there. That whole thought that I just was like, I have enough money and I have nowhere I need to go and nothing I need to do. Yo, exactly, bro. Like, that's why I'm doing this right here, because those exact thoughts, yo. Yeah, I know. And I told myself, it's not even that bad out. And I have been one of those people who's walked in the middle of a snowstorm. So yesterday I was like, I'll probably at some point during the day go for a walk and say I'm going wherever, and I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get just 2 nips and that'll be enough. And I'll be alone. I'll eat before and after, and I'll ride it out those couple hours, and I'll do it just to do it. and then it'll be fine. And this is actually the first I'm telling another alcoholic about it. I probably should have called my sponsor, but I'd let the thought go. Like I thought about it and then I forgot, and I'm only thinking of it now because, you know, talking about this, but like,
I'm really glad that you shared it because you're definitely like real talk had the same type of thing happen. Definitely last week there was a day everything felt like it was crashing down around me. Like it was just so bad. And I said to myself, if you don't go to sleep right now, you're gonna drink. So just go to sleep. Like I went for a walk and I found out that the beep brewery is like within walking distance of my house, which is one of my favorite beers. So that was not like that's not what I needed, you know? Like so I turned around and I walked back and I just said, "God keep me sober, God keep me sober, keep me sober, please keep me." I just kept saying it over and over again. And once I got home, I pretty much took some melatonin and was like, I'm done with this day. If I don't be done with this day, then I can't not drink during it. And that worked, and it like definitely was probably the lowest of lows, but it also got me to a place where I was thinking like, all right, what do I have to do? Like, what do I have to do to not ever feel like that again?
Yeah, it keeps us desperate.
Hell yeah. Like, I don't have to feel like that again if I don't want to.
Yeah.
Quick disclaimer, I'm an alcoholic, so I always am gonna kind of want to drink. But if I work a strong enough program, cravings like that will not take over my thoughts to the point where I have to go to sleep in order to not think them. So the idea with saying I don't have to feel like that again if I don't want to is just a way of saying if I work a strong program, I won't have to battle so hard on a day-to-day basis to stay sober. It'll just be second nature.
Yeah, because I know that now. That's the thing. Like, I don't have to play the whole tape all the way out. I just know now. I know that it won't feel good. It won't help. And I'm a part of this program. And that guilt will screw me up. And then I'll be lying about it. And then I will just do secret things in other ways. Like, I will just smoke weed again and not tell anybody. Or I'll do cocaine. Or I'll talk to someone that I shouldn't be, you know, and I'll just act out on that guilt and on that shame in other ways instead of starting over.
Hell yeah. I'll be on Tinder in like within 20 minutes.
Yeah. My ego and my pride won't let me come back. Like today, I got to just keep not going back out because that's what I'll go back out and then I won't come back in. And then I don't know what will happen. I can't play that tape. And that's the other thing. Yeah. As an alcoholic, I'm unpredictable. And I don't have to live like that today if I just don't pick up. Like the way that my disease talks to me, it's very convincing. That's what makes it so cunning and powerful. It's like you can drink safely. Like my disease truly thinks or has an understanding that I can drink safely because I'm not going to go anywhere and no one's going to know.
Right.
I can't just do that one time. I can't just go today and do that tonight between 7 and 9 p.m. And that's it. Like,
yeah, because even if you do, like, I had to do this. I had to walk myself all the way through it too, and go like, all right, you go and have one beer today. What do you think you're gonna do tomorrow? Do you think you're gonna be less isolated and bored tomorrow? Are you gonna be less socially distanced tomorrow? Like, no, it's gonna be the same freaking thing. You're gonna be the same amount of quarantined, as I like to call it, as you are right now. Like, you're just gonna be either slightly hungover or the phenomenon of craving is gonna be back full force, and you're gonna be hiding 6-pack somewhere in the basement. Like,
this is why I said this to you, because you had to say that to me. Because even though I knew that, like you saying it reminded me. And that's what really just helped me get all the way through this. Because that's the thing as an alcoholic. My brain was only worried about right now.
Right.
And that first drink right now.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Exactly.
How do I fix this immediate crisis? This is a crisis and I have to get out of it. And if I don't, I'm going to die. I'm going to freaking die. I'm going to kill someone or I'm going to die. It's like, no, you're going to fucking be fine. Like you said, drink some water, take a breath.
And talk about it. I have, because you really did it for me, Ange, because a part of my brain was still like, yeah, but we could do that. We could go get just a couple nips and safely stay at home and drink, and no one has to know. And then you can just let it go and never think about it again, and it'll be fine. And not only would that not happen, but exactly, I'm still going to be quarantined. I'm still going to be alone and be safe, and it's fine. And then it's not fine. Like Danny happens to come upstairs, or my dad or someone calls me and I got to answer the phone, or my boyfriend FaceTimes me.
Oh God, or just the shame of the next morning of being like,
Yeah.
fuck, I drank and I have to tell someone, but
Yep.
or I could not tell anyone and drink
I'm
again
lying.
today. Like
Yep.
that
Yeah.
freaking little, I just
Yes.
picture
And
that
then I'm
ugly
lying.
purple devil emoji. Like, yeah, or I could drink
Yes.
again today. Like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
And it doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. This was so good. Like I definitely got what I needed from this
Me
conversation.
too. Yeah. It's a
All
great
right.
spot to end. It's a great
Yeah.
high note. Like,
Oh,
yeah, you got to talk about it, because that's how you'll get the relief and the peace of mind we need.
it's
You
crazy that they
gotta-
say, they always say it's an honest program, and then you feel weird being honest. You're like, I know that I'm an alcoholic and an addict, but I really want to drink. And if I tell someone, then it's like, but when you tell someone, it's like, whoa, that was like so. Like I didn't tell anyone when it happened. I was just mad at the world. And now that I've actually gotten it off my chest, I feel so much better.
Me too. Like, you really saying that to me, that's what I needed to hear. Like, I was not thinking about that. And even though I knew that, and maybe it would have come to me at some point, but you saying to me, you're just going to be in the same spot. I'm just going to feel the same way, the next day. And that's how I know it won't work. That's what stopped me from picking up. It doesn't work. And I forget that because I have a built-in forgetter, because I'm an alcoholic.
Thank you. And and it's
thank
really
you.
hard to take a compliment.
You're my best friend.
Okay,
You're the
I
best.
love you so
Thank
much. You're the shit.
I love you so much. This was great.
You can follow Maureen Begley on Twitter at Maureen_Begley. And that's it. That's our first full-length episode. So awesome. Thanks so much for being here all the way at the end. You can follow us at Sober During on Twitter, or at Sober During Crisis on Instagram. You can email me, soberduringcrisis@gmail.com, if you're interested in being interviewed for the show. Also, you can call in to a Google Voice number and leave a quick message. The number is 413-206-9607. Join us next week. We're going to talk to Matt Woodland, now a New York-based comedian. What big shot. Heads up. We're going to chat about getting sober, staying sober, being a sober comic, and just like how it gets better, apparently. It's a great episode. Super excited for it to air. Don't pick up today, no matter what. Just don't pick up today. That's all you gotta do. I'm Ange Buxton. Peace.